God says there comes a moment in every person's life when the past no longer defines the future. A moment when everything you once believed about your limits begins to change. Perhaps you did not notice it at first. Perhaps it arrived quietly, like a gentle thought in your mind or a small feeling in your heart telling you that something new is beginning. Life often works this way. The biggest transformations do not always arrive with loud announcements. They appear softly, almost like a whisper, inviting you to pause and reflect on where you are going next. Right now, this moment may be one of those turning points for you. For a long time you may have been carrying memories, disappointments, and questions about why certain things happened the way they did. You may have wondered why some doors closed even when you tried your best. But sometimes closed doors are not signs of failure. They are quiet redirections guiding you towards something better suited for your future. What once looked like an ending may actually have been preparation. Preparation for growth, preparation for wisdom, and preparation for a new chapter that you are now ready to begin. God says every story in life has chapters. Some chapters are filled with joy and excitement. Others are filled with lessons that feel difficult at the time but become meaningful later. No matter what your previous chapters looked like, they were shaping the person you are becoming. Every experience gave you understanding that you did not have before. Every challenge strengthened your patience. Every moment you refused to give up built a deeper kind of courage inside you. That courage is important because it allows you to step forward even when the path ahead is not fully visible yet. Right now you may be standing at a place where you feel something shifting inside your thoughts. Maybe you are beginning to see possibilities that you once ignored. Maybe you are realizing that the future is still open, still waiting for the decisions you choose to make today. This realization is powerful because it reminds you that your story is not finished. In fact, the most meaningful part of it may just be beginning. God says writing a new story does not mean forgetting everything from the past. Instead, it means learning from it. The past gave you experience. It showed you what works and what does not. It revealed the strength you carry even when you feel uncertain. When you use those lessons wisely, the next chapter becomes stronger and clearer. You begin to make decisions with greater awareness. You begin to choose paths that align with your values and your vision. Another important truth is that change often begins with a simple decision inside your mind. When you decide that your life can move in a better direction, your perspective begins to shift. Suddenly you notice opportunities that you once overlooked. You become more focused on growth instead of regret. Your energy starts moving toward progress rather than staying trapped in past memories. That shift in mindset is often the first step toward real transformation. God says you do not have to rush this process. A new story is written step by step, just like a book is written page by page. Each day offers you a new page. On that page you can choose your attitude, your actions, and your focus. Some days will feel easier than others, but every day still gives you the chance to move forward. Even small positive decisions repeated consistently can shape an entirely different future over time. There will also be moments when you question yourself. Moments when you wonder whether you are truly ready for the next chapter. In those moments, remember that readiness does not mean perfection. It simply means having the courage to keep learning and improving. Growth is not about having every answer immediately. It is about continuing to walk forward with determination and faith that your effort will lead somewhere meaningful. God says there are possibilities ahead of you that you may not yet see clearly. Opportunities often appear when you remain open and attentive. Sometimes they arrive through new ideas, sometimes through unexpected conversations, and sometimes through simple realizations that change how you approach your goals. When you stay patient and focused, those possibilities gradually reveal themselves. Your story is not defined by what others expect from you. It is defined by the choices you make with your time, your energy, and your mindset. When you believe that your life can move towards something better, you begin to act in ways that support that belief. Confidence grows from action, and action creates progress. Over time, that progress becomes the foundation of a new chapter filled with clarity and purpose. God says the message reaching you today is simple: the future is still open, and you have the ability to shape it with thoughtful choices and steady determination. Do not underestimate the power of a single decision to start moving in a new direction. Sometimes that one decision becomes the first sentence of a completely new story. God says, as you continue listening to this message, take a moment to truly reflect on the journey that has brought you here today. Life has never been a straight road for anyone. Every person carries chapters filled with moments of uncertainty, challenges that seemed impossible at the time, and experiences that shaped their understanding of the world. There were days when you felt strong and confident, and there were also days when you felt tired, confused, or unsure about the direction your life was taking. Yet even during those uncertain moments, something important was quietly happening inside you. Your mind was learning, your patience was growing, and your heart was becoming stronger than it had ever been before. God says many people underestimate the power of these quiet seasons of growth. When progress is not immediately visible, it is easy to believe that nothing meaningful is happening. But the truth is that some of the most important changes take place beneath the surface, just like the roots of a tree growing deep before the branches reach the sky. Those roots create stability. They prepare the tree to stand strong when storms arrive. In the same way, the lessons you have learned from your past experiences are strengthening the foundation of the life you are building now. There may have been moments when you questioned why certain opportunities did not work out the way you expected. Perhaps you hoped for something that never happened, or perhaps you worked hard toward a goal that did not unfold as planned. It is natural to feel disappointed when things do not go the way you imagined. But sometimes what looks like a closed door is actually a quiet redirection. Life often guides people away from paths that are not meant for them so they can discover a direction that fits their true potential more clearly. God says writing a new story for your life begins with awareness. It begins with recognizing that the future is still open and that your choices today will shape what happens tomorrow. When you become aware of this truth, you start seeing your life differently. Instead of focusing only on past mistakes or missed opportunities, you begin to focus on the possibilities that still exist ahead of you. This shift in perspective is powerful because it gives you control over your direction again. Another important part of starting a new chapter is learning to release the weight of unnecessary regrets. Regret can sometimes keep people trapped in the past, replaying situations they wish they could change. But life moves forward, not backward. The purpose of past experiences is not to hold you down, but to teach you something valuable. When you accept those lessons and allow yourself to move forward, you create space for new opportunities and new perspectives to enter your life. God says every new chapter begins with small actions. You do not need to change everything in a single day. Instead, focus on steady steps that guide you toward improvement. It may be a new habit that supports your goals, a decision to spend your time more wisely, or a commitment to develop a skill that helps you grow. These small steps may appear simple, but when repeated consistently they can create remarkable changes over time. You may also notice that when your mindset becomes more hopeful, your energy begins to change as well. Instead of feeling stuck, you begin to feel curious about what the future might hold. You become more open to learning, more willing to explore new ideas, and more confident in your ability to adapt to different situations. This curiosity keeps your mind active and your motivation strong. God says another key part of writing a new story is surrounding yourself with positive influence. The people you listen to and the environments you spend time in have a powerful effect on your thoughts. Encouraging conversations and supportive relationships can strengthen your confidence and inspire new ideas. When you spend time around people who value growth and positivity, you naturally begin to think and act in similar ways. Remember that every meaningful journey requires patience. The story you are writing will not unfold overnight, and that is perfectly normal. Progress, built slowly and carefully, often becomes more stable and lasting. Each day you move forward, you are adding another page to your story. Some pages will contain victories, while others will contain lessons that guide you to grow even further. God says the important thing is to remain open to change and to believe that your life still holds many possibilities. The future is not something that simply happens to you. It is something you participate in creating through your mindset, your effort, and your willingness to keep moving forward. God says as you continue reflecting on this message, remember that every meaningful change begins within your thoughts long before it becomes visible in your life. Many people wait for a dramatic moment that will suddenly transform everything, but real transformation usually begins quietly. It begins with a realization that you are capable of choosing a different direction, capable of learning from your past, and capable of creating a future that reflects the growth you have experienced. That realization is powerful because it reminds you that your story is still being written and that the pages ahead are not yet decided. There were times in your past when you may have doubted your own strength. You may have faced situations that made you question whether you had the ability to continue moving forward. Yet even during those difficult moments, something inside you kept pushing you to keep going. That quiet determination is important. It is the part of you that refuses to give up even when circumstances become challenging. Many people discover their true strength only after they have faced moments of uncertainty, because those moments reveal how resilient the human spirit can truly be. God says one of the most important steps in writing a new story for your life is learning to trust the process of growth. Growth does not always appear in the form of immediate success. Sometimes it appears as small improvements in the way you think, the way you respond to challenges, and the way you approach your goals. These improvements may seem simple, but they gradually build the foundation of a stronger and more confident future. When you remain patient and consistent, these small steps begin to create momentum. Another truth that many people discover during their journey is that clarity often arrives after periods of confusion. When you are uncertain about the path ahead, your mind begins to search for answers. You start reflecting on your values, your interests, and the direction that feels most meaningful to you. This process of reflection can lead to powerful insights about what truly matters in your life. Once you gain that clarity, it becomes easier to make decisions that align with your long-term vision. God says the next chapter of your story will be shaped by the habits you choose to practice every day. Habits may seem small, but they have a powerful influence on your future. The way you spend your time, the information you allow into your mind, and the energy you bring to your daily actions all contribute to the direction your life takes. When you focus on habits that support growth and learning, you gradually build a lifestyle that encourages progress. It is also important to remember that every journey includes moments of doubt. Even people who eventually achieve great things experience times when they question themselves. Doubt is a natural part of growth because it pushes you to evaluate your choices and strengthen your determination. The key is not to allow doubt to stop you completely. Instead, view it as a signal to pause, reflect, and continue moving forward with renewed clarity. God says another powerful element in writing a new story is gratitude. Gratitude helps you appreciate the lessons and experiences that have shaped you into who you are today. When you take time to recognize the progress you have already made, you build confidence in your ability to continue improving. Gratitude also helps you maintain balance, allowing you to pursue your goals with optimism rather than pressure. There is also something important about patience when creating a new chapter in life. Many people become discouraged when they do not see immediate results from their efforts. But progress built slowly often becomes stronger and more sustainable. Each step forward adds another page to the story you are writing. Some pages will be filled with achievements, while others will contain lessons that guide you toward greater wisdom. God says the message reaching you today is not about rushing toward unrealistic expectations. It is about recognizing that you already have the ability to shape your future through thoughtful decisions and consistent effort. Every day offers a new opportunity to write another line in the story of your life. When you approach each day with awareness and determination, the story you create becomes more meaningful and inspiring. Remember that your journey is unique. No one else has the exact same experiences, perspectives, or dreams that you carry. Your story will unfold in its own way, guided by the choices you make and the lessons you embrace along the path. The important thing is to remain open to growth and to continue believing that your efforts matter. God says as you continue listening to this message, remember that every chapter of life carries its own meaning, even the ones that once felt difficult to understand. There were moments in your journey when you may have wondered why certain things happened the way they did. You may have asked yourself why some paths became harder than expected or why certain opportunities seemed to slip away just when you hoped they would work out. But often, the true meaning of those moments becomes clearer only when time passes. What once felt confusing can later become the lesson that shapes your future direction in a powerful way. Life has a unique way of guiding people through experiences that strengthen them for what lies ahead. Sometimes that guidance appears through challenges that encourage patience, and sometimes it appears through quiet realizations that change the way you see your future. When you begin to reflect on your past with understanding rather than regret, you start to see that every experience added something valuable to your journey. Each lesson expanded your awareness and helped you grow into a wiser and stronger version of yourself. God says writing a new story for your life means accepting that you are not limited by the chapters that came before. The past may have shaped your understanding, but it does not control the choices you make today. Every new day offers you another opportunity to write a different page. The direction you move now depends on the mindset you carry and the decisions you choose to make moving forward. When you realize that your future is still open, it becomes easier to release the weight of old doubts and focus on what you want to build next. There is something powerful about believing in the possibility of change. When you allow yourself to imagine a better direction for your life, your perspective begins to shift. You start to notice opportunities that once seemed invisible. You begin to recognize your strengths more clearly, and you start to understand how your experiences have prepared you for growth. This shift in thinking can transform the way you approach each new day. God says another important part of creating a new chapter is learning to trust your ability to adapt. Life rarely follows a perfectly predictable path. Unexpected situations can appear at any moment, and sometimes those situations require you to adjust your plans. Adaptability is not a weakness, it is a strength that allows you to continue moving forward even when circumstances change. When you remain flexible and open to learning, challenges often become opportunities to develop new skills and deeper understanding. It is also important to remember that growth is a continuous process. No one becomes their best self in a single moment. Improvement happens gradually as you practice new habits and refine your mindset over time. The choices you make today may seem small, but when those choices are repeated consistently, they create meaningful progress. Every step you take toward learning, improving, and staying focused adds another positive page to the story you are writing. God says patience plays an important role in this journey. Many people become discouraged when results take longer than they expected. But progress that develops slowly often becomes stronger and more lasting. Just like a tree that grows steadily over time develops deeper roots, the progress you build with patience creates stability that supports your future success. When you remain committed to your growth, even small improvements can eventually lead to remarkable change. Another powerful element in shaping your new story is gratitude. Gratitude helps you recognize the good that already exists in your life while still motivating you to pursue greater goals. When you appreciate the lessons you have learned and the progress you have made, you create a mindset that encourages confidence and optimism. This positive perspective makes it easier to stay motivated and focused on the direction you want to move. God says the message you are hearing right now is a reminder that your story is far from finished. There are still many chapters waiting to unfold, many experiences waiting to shape your understanding, and many opportunities waiting to appear when the time is right. What matters most is your willingness to keep moving forward with faith in your ability to grow and adapt. If this message touched your heart, comment, "I am ready for my new chapter."